Hey everybody, this is Frillioth and welcome to episode 2 of the Minecraft Survival Manual. Now if you can remember in the last episode we got ourselves a little bit of iron, we did a little bit of digging, got some coal. What we want to do in this episode is we need to go and source ourselves a little bit more food, and I also want to make a little bit more storage around here because your inventory will fill up really quickly early games. So what you really need to be doing to start with is just getting yourself down a few chests and getting it into some kind of order. So we'll discuss that today. Now before we start, don't forget to go and check out Avamance's second video. That should be out the same time as this one, and he'll go through pretty much the same thing I'm going to go through today, only doing it in his own inimitable style, as only Avamance can. So don't forget to go and check that out. So as I mentioned, we've dug down there a little bit. I don't want to go down there any further. We've found a mine shaft down there, which is something we really have to go and investigate because they're fantastic and like I mentioned, really scary. But I don't want to do that at the moment because I'm as naked as the day I was born. But we have got 22 iron ingots, and as you can see, I've made another advancement. It's a fantastic game within a game. Play along at home. And I've got one chest with a few bits and pieces in it, but I can hear outside, you might be able to hear the llamas. Is it daytime? It's daytime. I can hear some llamas, and up there is a travelling salesman, a vendor. What do you call him? I forgot what you call him. There you go, he's a wandering trader. Now these guys turn up periodically around the world near players. And they'll stick around for a little bit. They go invisible at night. So at night, if you see llamas, these kind of llamas, just wandering around with leads, it's because he's taken an invisibility potion. Because he gets attacked by... Are you alright, mate? Have I upset you? Wow. Not quite sure what's going on there. But anyway, he takes an invisibility potion overnight so he doesn't get attacked by zombies. So at night you probably won't be able to see him. But during the day, he should stand still and allow you to trade with him. But we can't do that yet because we don't have anywhere near enough emeralds. But you see, he's got a range of stuff on him. And that changes every time he turns up. So he's somebody we will be doing business with later, but not today. What I want to do today then is, first of all, we need to get ourselves a sustainable source of food. Now, we'll be making farms in a future episode, so I don't want to be making a farm. And this is not the area I'm going to be making my base in. This is just temporary, so we really don't want to be building farms around here. So in order to get myself a little bit of food, firstly, I've got my iron. Firstly, I'm going to make myself an iron chest plate to give myself a little bit of protection. You do that by almost filling the box with leaving the top one. So I've got my iron chest plate. Also, if you press E and then you shift and left click on the chest plate, you automatically put it on. Okay, so it's good to know. You just left click, you automatically put it on. Also, if it's in your inventory and you right click, you automatically put it on. So there are a couple of ways that you can put on and take off your armor. So if it's in your hotbar, right click on it, it automatically gets assigned to your chest plate area on your body, which is great. It's getting dark, so we're going to have to do something else in a minute. But in order to farm, firstly I'm going to have to go and get some seeds, because seeds early game are great for making wheat and making bread. I also need to make myself a tool. Now this is going to be it's only going to be a little hoe for doing a little bit of gardening. If you want to you can, but don't go making yourself a diamond hoe. Really, there is an achievement if you break a diamond hoe, but really you don't need one. You're just wasting diamonds. And you might notice as well, we can talk about this now, I didn't talk about it to start with because right at the very beginning, this green book here is a recipe book. It's empty. When you first start playing the game, you don't get any recipes in it. But the more you progress around the world, the more things you interact with, the more things you mine, the more things you kill, the more recipes are going to appear in your recipe book. So as an example, if you chop down a tree, you'll get the recipe for planks, and once you've made planks, once you've made planks for the first time, you'll get the recipe for sticks, and you'll get the recipe for a crafting table, and for signs, and wooden trapdoors, and wooden buttons, and wooden pressure plates, and as you progress further, you'll mine a little bit of iron, and once you've got an iron ingot, you'll have the recipe for buckets, and for hoppers, trapdoors, for shears, which are great if you want to get leaves or shear sheep. So the more you interact with, the more recipes will appear in the book. Once you get string for the first time, if you kill a spider and you get string for the first time, or you break a cobweb with a sword and get string, you'll get the recipe for a bow, and you'll get recipes for tripwire hooks. And once you make glass for the first time, you'll get stained glass recipes and glass pane recipes. So basically, your recipe book will fill up the more you interact with stuff around the world. Now, as I mentioned, there are a couple of views for getting the recipe book up on the left hand side. So you click the green button, the recipe book comes up. There are two views of it. There's the showing craftable option, which only shows you recipes that you have the inventory to make, and there is the showing all option, which shows you all of the recipes that you're able to make. But if they're highlighted in red, that just means that you don't have the items in your inventory to make them. Now, when you've been playing for a while, your recipe book is going to fill up. It's going to fill up really quickly. And if you have the showing all option available, your recipe book is going to be full of items that are highlighted in red because you don't have the stuff to make it. So I find that it's useful to just have the showing craftable option ticked, and that way it will only show you the recipes for for items that you have items in your inventory to make. Now, the advantage of being able to show everything is that if I wanted to make a crafting table, for example, but I don't have the items in my inventory to make a crafting table, I might still want to know what items I need to go and collect. So if you click on the showing all option and you click on the a highlighted item that's in red, it will actually show you what you need to go and collect in order to make that particular item. So if I wanted to make some iron ingots, for example, I'll need to go and get myself an iron block. And if I wanted to make some sticks, I need to go and resource 2 planks. I've currently only got 1. So if you don't know how to make an item, and you don't know what you need to make that item, and you need to go out and collect it, you need to click on the showing all option, and that'll just show you what you need to go and collect in order to make an item. But as I mentioned, your recipe book is going to fill up really quickly, so you might just want to leave that on showing craftable until you actually need to go off and start resource gathering. So I've got myself a stone hoe, and you can see, actually, while I'm talking about it, I'm scrolling through my hotbar, and you can see the box on my hotbar. I'm scrolling through that using my scrolling wheel, which is one way to access items or put items in your hand. Another way to put items in your hand, which is a little bit quicker, and we'll go over this again a little bit more when we talk about combat, but if you press the number button on your keyboard that corresponds with the number of the square on your hotbar, it will automatically put that item in your hand. So I've currently got my pick in my hand. That's in inventory slot number 1. If I press inventory slot number 3, I automatically put the sword into my hand. If I press inventory slot number 5, I automatically put the torch in my hand, which is really handy if you're mining, if you're doing some mining and you suddenly walk around the corner and come face to face with a monster. Instead of scrolling and missing the thing and trying to whack it with a torch, if you quickly press the 3 button, you automatically put the sword in your hand. Now, obviously, you're going to have you're going to have the inventory slots where you want to put your items. I generally always put my stone pick in my inventory slot 1 and my sword in 3. As a rule, actually, I put my torches in inventory slot number 2. You'll have your own best way of doing this. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, but get used to where stuff is and try and put it in the same place every time, because it will really help you if you're mining and you suddenly come face to face with a monster. If you can quickly press the number button that corresponds with your sword, it's going to put you in a much better position to be able to attack that monster. Anyway, I digress slightly. What I want to do now is make myself a what do I need? I need a sword. I'm going to make an iron sword. So again, I've gathered iron, and so I'm able to make an iron sword. I've got all the ingredients in my inventory to make a sword. So if I click on it, now be careful when you're shift clicking. Okay, if you were to shift click on that now, you would make 4 swords, and we really don't want to do that. So just be careful when you're using the inventory option, when you're using the craft option, that you don't shift click. Otherwise you'll make 64 iron buttons, 64 iron ingots, and you don't want to do that. So I've made my iron sword. What else do I need? I want an iron axe, because we're going to be chopping down some trees, and I'll probably want an iron pick as well. Brilliant. So I'm just going to wait now for it to get light, and then we'll go out and hopefully get some seeds. So it's daytime, and I've got and it stopped raining, and I'm just going to put these into some kind of order again. I should really have left the stuff I'm not going to be using indoors, but I haven't, so never mind. So what we're looking for now, keeping an eye out for monsters. Oh! See that? That's why you've got to be super careful. He's obviously spawned down in the hole in the cave, and it doesn't burn up because he's not out in the daytime. So you just be careful when you go around dark places. Same around here, same with woods, like I mentioned right at the very beginning. Monsters won't burn up if they're stood under trees, or skellies and zombies won't burn up if they're stood under trees. So be careful when you're walking around trees. So what I want to do then, as I mentioned, we want to grab some seeds, but what I also want to do is chop down a few more trees, because we need the wood for chests. But I'm hoping that we're going to get some apples, and you get apples from oak trees. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? Oh, there's a witch. Early game, stay clear of witches. They'll throw potions at you, potions of slowness. They'll slow you down, potions of weakness, all kinds of bad stuff. Don't go near witches. Witches are bad. So we'll just get another tree. They must be underground. Oh, they frightens me to death. Right, so we've got those trees, and those leaves are going to decay. And as they decay, they're going to drop saplings. They're going to drop apples. So while they're doing that, grab any item, or your hand, sticks as well. Any item, you don't need a tool for this. And just break grass. And if you're lucky, you'll get some seeds. I'm just going to run around here and break these and get a few seeds. If you're in a meadow or something and you've got loads and loads of grass, then just run around spamming, and you'll just get loads of seeds. If you're in the desert, then you're bang in trouble. Right, how many seeds have we got? We've got 7. That's not enough. I'm just going to run over here and see if I can grab some more. Having no luck. Wow, not having any luck. Hopefully you guys will have a little bit more luck than I've had. Okay, well we'll have to do with what we've got then. That's really poor. I was expecting a few more than that. Okay. So I'm going to make, and it's not going to be a farm because we're not staying here. So I'm not going to make myself a full-on farm. But what I am going to do is throw down a few seeds and hopefully get some wheat, because we're going to need wheat to breed animals. We're going to need wheat to make bread. Another seed. Lovely. So I'm going to make it here. There's the entrance to our little makeshift cave. So grab yourself your hoe and then right click on a bit of dirt or on some grass, and you'll turn it into farmland. Now the fact that I've got it next to water means that that's going to get it's going to obtain moisture. If you press F3, you can look on the right hand side. It currently says that it's got a moisture value of nothing. After a few minutes it'll have a moisture value of 7, but it'll only have a moisture value if it's within 4 blocks of water. So don't go hoeing blocks over here. If we were to hoe that block there, in a few minutes, look, it'll turn back into dirt. Now you can plant on bone dry farmland, but it just takes absolutely ages for things to grow. So as a rule, don't plant on dry. Oh my goodness! Frightened me to death. Right, well, it's got dark and I'm outside. So what I'm going to quickly do is plant my seeds. And again, you look at the floor, right click, and you'll plant your seeds. Now these do need light in order to grow. So they'll grow perfectly fine during the day, but at night they won't. So if I just throw down a little bit of light there. Don't like being outside because it's dark. Throw that down there, then I'll get back inside out of the way. Now that lightning that just came down, if that lands within 4 blocks of a villager, it'll turn him into a witch. If that lands within 4 blocks of a pig, it'll turn it into a zombie pig man. Anyway, I'll be back in a minute when it stopped raining. Okay, so the thundering and lightning stopped and it's now daytime. Llama's still there. Don't know whether the travelling trader's still there. Right, if I'd have had a bed, and it's worth knowing, if when you've got a bed and you can make a bed using 3 wool and 3 planks, you can sleep through the night. But what it also allows you to do is sleep through thunderstorms, not just rain, but thunderstorms. So if I'd have had a bed last night when it was thundering and lightning, very, very frightening, I could have put my bed down and slept in it, and that would have cleared the weather, and that would have taken the time, no matter what time of the day it was, that would have taken the time round to the following morning. So if you are out and about somewhere and it starts to thunder and lightning, because it's not nice running around by the thunder. Hello, mate. Look at that, hiding under a tree, creepers down there and everything. Got myself in a bit of trouble. So yeah, if you are out and about and it starts thundering and lightning, put your bed down, sleep. That will help you no end. My crops still haven't grown any. I was hoping to get over there and see if I'd got any apples. I don't really need them. In fairness, I've got a little bit of lamb. You see, he'll burn up in the sun until he gets into the water. And now he's in the water. Hopefully, we can keep him in the water for a little bit, because after 30 seconds or so, he'll turn into a drown. Because he's now underwater, his head is under the water. He'll now turn into a drown. We'll see him start shaking in a minute. Come on over here. Don't climb up that block. As soon as he starts shaking, then the metamorphosis has begun. There you go. So he's now a drown, which means he can now walk a lot quicker, or swim even, in water. And obviously that makes him very, very dangerous. But during the day, he can't come out. He can't get me because he won't come out of the water because he burns up in the sun. Don't you, mate? You won't come out here. Don't make me look like an idiot. He's not really interested in me because it's day. However, if it's dark, if it's night, he will. He'll come out of the water. He'll come and get me. But I don't want you out here. So, sorry, mate. I'm going to chop you up. No apples. If there were any, they've despawned. Okie dokie. So what I want to do now then for the last couple of minutes is we want to talk about storage. Storage is pretty important early game. It's very, very easy, and I've done it myself. It's very easy to spam down half a dozen chests and then just fill them with stuff. And before you know it, you've got no idea what's where and what's there and what's everywhere else. So I'm just going to dig out a little bit of room here. Now, bearing in mind, this is not our base. This is just a little base camp kind of thing where we're just going to be gathering some resources before we head off into the wilds to find our base where we're going to be staying and spending most of the game. But even so, we still need to get ourselves a little bit of storage. So let's knock out a bit of room. When you're mining as well, you can always put your torches in your offhand. And that way, while you're mining and it gets a little bit dark, you can just right click and put down a torch. And you don't have to take the pick out of your hand. It's just handy. And it's the same when you're caving as well. If you're caving or going around, and we'll do this a little bit more later when we go around the mine shaft. If you've got your sword in your right hand, so you can sword people, and you've got your torches in your left hand. This is before you have a shield. Shield's probably better than torches. But if you've got your torch in your left hand and you've got your sword in your right hand, you can just throw down a torch as you're walking about. Anyway, digressing again, let me make myself some chests. So we'll have 8 chests. So I'll throw them down there. Now, these at the top won't open because I've got a solid block above them. If you want to, we'll go over this again. I keep saying we'll go over this later, but we will. There's a lot to go through. But if I just pop out those blocks there, I can then stick a torch above the top, give it a bit of light, and also now I can access the chests. So what I'm going to do now is I'll put all of my stone, all of my building blocks in one. I'm going to put all of my wood and all of my wood-related things in another. I'm going to put all of my food in another. And then I'm going to put all my various other bits and pieces in. We'll throw that in my wooden one. In there like that. And now I've got a very good idea of where everything is. So I won't be coming in here and rifling through loads of chests if I want to find where my blocks are. I know where my blocks are. Because I always put my blocks in my blocks chest. Blocks in there. You can, again, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. If you want to spam stuff into 2 or 3 chests, then crack on and do it. As this is not the perfect way of doing it. This is just my way of doing it. If you've got your own way, then do it your own way. So I think we'll call it there for today, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. So what have we done? We've been out and found ourselves a few seeds. We've started a little starter farm to get ourselves a few bits of wheat in order to breed some animals at a later date, and we've gone through a little bit of storage and making chests. And don't forget to pop over and check out Avo's video and see how he's doing these things. So thank you for watching, everybody. If you have enjoyed the episode, please don't forget to leave it a like, and if you've really loved it, don't forget to subscribe for future videos. This is Fully Off, and I'm out of here.